Discovery Season 5 has one big advantage other Star Trek shows lack. Star Trek Discovery enters Season 5 with an advantage other Star Trek on Paramount Plus shows lack. The final season of Discovery, Season 5, sees Captain Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, lead the USS Discovery on an intergalactic treasure hunt for an artifact tied to an 800-year-old Romulan ship. Discovery Season 5 is also said to be a tonal shift to more adventure, whereas previous Discovery sagas centered on dire galactic stakes. Star Trek Discovery Season 5 continues the exploration of the 32nd century that began with the show's 930-year time jump in Season 3, distancing it from the rest of Star Trek's more convoluted timeline. It used to be much easier for audiences, both hardcore Trekkers and casual viewers, to keep track of when Star Trek series happened. Star Trek, the original series, Star Trek, the animated series, and the 6 movies that followed, all took place in the 23rd century. Star Trek: The Next Generation then began the exploration of the 24th century, which was followed by 4 TNG movies, Star Trek: Deep Space Nine and Star Trek: Voyager. It was also relatively simple to track Star Trek: Enterprise, which was a prequel set in the 22nd century. Discovery Season 5 is the end of Star Trek's timeline. Compared to the other 4 existing Star Trek on Paramount Plus shows, Star Trek Discovery's move to the 32nd century in Season 3 made keeping track of when the show took place exceedingly simple. Discovery is the farthest point of Star Trek's future. Jumping 930 years beyond Star Trek, Discovery's original mid-23rd century starting point allowed the Star Trek franchise to definitively establish that Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets last for 1,000 years. Although the Federation Michael Burnham and the USS Discovery found upon their arrival in 3189 was broken for 100 years after the burn. When Star Trek on Paramount Plus, as other shows take place in the Star Trek timeline, isn't quite as cut and dry as Star Trek Discovery, and it can all be confusing to keep track of. Star Trek Picard began in 2399 at the end of the 24th century, and Star Trek Picard Season 3 finished up in 2402. Ushering in all of the possibilities of the 25th century. Star Trek Lower Decks' 4 seasons take place from 2380 to 2831 after Star Trek Nemesis. Star Trek Prodigy begins a couple of years later, in 2383. Meanwhile, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is a way-back machine to the 23rd century after Star Trek Discovery Seasons 1 and 2, but about 6 years before Star Trek, the original series.